Inline SVG. If you are an SVG user or you work with applications like Adobe Illustrator, even InDesign or Photoshop, you will have a good idea of what SVG is. If you have no idea, I'm going to show you today SVG, and you're going to think afterwards like, why haven't I done this before? And this is one of those things that for advanced designers, not even advanced, they look for this kind of feature within page builders, because when they were doing coding by hand in HTML or whatnot, SVG was a big part of how they were doing it, and many page builders lack in good incorporation of inline or SVG in general. Crocoblock in their JetElements have provided this feature of an inline SVG, and I'm going to explain a little bit about SVG, which stands for Scalable Vector Graphics. Scalable Vector Graphics. Yeah, we don't just come up with these acronyms out of the blue. They actually mean something. Now, yes, where do we start? I want to start with the concept of an icon, right? So if we go into Elementor and we type your icon, you're going to see many elements pop up from the free version as well as those from the add-ons and the pro version. And we all know what is an icon. And the problem with icons in page builders is that they are very limited. I feel they are highly limited. The second problem that you have is that very soon all icons start looking the same. There is nothing special about it. Some page builders or site builders allow you to bring in your own icons. I like that. Some are very limited. The icon is essentially something like an SVG, and many times when you try to do your own thing, you will bring an image like a PNG. Oh, okay, I know, portable, it's all getting very confusing at this moment. But hang on, we're going to get there. What SVG allows you to do is to bring in an image type called an SVG. And there are certain benefits to bringing in an SVG. Let's look at that first. I'm going to type here SVG. That's all I need to type, and you will see the inline SVG popping up. And we drag it in here, it will open a new section. I have to upload here an SVG image. I've already have a few up here. So let me choose this one for Android, which I have downloaded. And you will see there it appears. And you will think, oh, good grief, but that thing is small. How can this be of any benefit? It takes on the shape of an icon. Do you remember what the S stands for? Scalable. And that is the power of the SVG. I'm under Style, and I clicked on SVG, Use Custom Width, and look how that little robot just popped up big there. I can scale it. And the beauty of a scalable vector graphic is that it's going to remain in a good resolution regardless of the size you scale it to. And that is one primary benefit of it. One, there are two. Let me bring in something that I'd worked on with a graphic designer for the Websites for Beginners website. We were working on these various animals that we wanted to use on the website, and we want to use them as kind of mascots for the different page builders. So for Elementor, I actually chose the cobra. And what we did is you would normally have a graphic designer doing this in Adobe Illustrator. You can see here the AI over there, and then they will save it for you in various formats. And the most standard one for website is actually SVG. The problem, and this is why you see the Chrome extension here, the problem is that many page builders do not play well with SVG, so you have to go for PNG, which is this one over here. Let's though look at what happens when we view these when it comes to size. The PNG here is 27 kilobytes, which is already very small. But look at the SVG counterpart at 4 kilobytes. That's just ridiculously small. And remember, it's scalable. Whereas your PNG has, where am I now? Your PNG has a limitation. It cannot scale forever. That is your problem with PNG if you have a very small one and you want to make it bigger. So the benefit then is with SVG and having this feature, you can bring in scalable, very small size icons. And you don't see me doing the quotation marks here with my hands, but I'm trying to do that. We can call them icons. You can get full-blown graphic images all in SVG. And they speed up your loading of your website incredibly. Now I want to promote a little thing that I've been using a lot, and it's one called thenounproject.com, and I'll leave a link for you in the description below. I've signed up with these guys already last year, and that's where I actually found many of the graphic designers that I do work with on sites. Over 1 million curated icons. Now, if you're not going to use it on your website and not for commercial purposes, you can download them for free. But if you are going to use it on a website or for commercial purposes, you need to buy a license. And if you go here, you can go to Noun Pro pricing, and you'll be surprised you get it for $40 annually. That is nothing if you use it all the time. I think I need to support these guys. There are excellent stuff here. So for me, this was a no-brainer. I got it. So how does it work? They have increased their functionality over the last few months. You can do a lot with it now, but let me show you something. I want to, for example, put a download button on my site with various graphics to download. One is, for example, Photoshop. So I will type in here Photoshop, enter, and it will give me a plethora of selections that you can see will be associated with Photoshop. Now, I actually use this one for the demo that we are busy with. Now, the nice thing is I click on this one and you will see it appears over here, and I can get a PNG format. And look, I can even choose the sizes for the PNG, but it also gives me the SVG. What I want to show you is before I download it, I am going to go into the collection over here that says Design Files Solid Icon Collection. This one is part of this collection. So I click on this and it will give me the creator, which is icon 54, and everything associated with this collection. So I've downloaded the SVG, the PSD, and the EPS because I want to give these formats downloadable from my website. And if you combine this with the download button from Crocoblock JetElements, it becomes super powerful. So let me show you quickly how to do that. I'm going to click on the SVG. You can keep the color as is, but let's say I want to change it to white. Then I can go here to icon color and you'll see familiar color pickers that you can see. And then you simply click on the SVG and voila, it will download down there. From there, you're going to drag it into your media library. So let's go back and work with the Inline SVG and have some idea of what's going on. Choose 3 columns here and let's drag in our Inline SVG. I'm going to drag in the first one. And for this one, I'm going to choose my Photoshop, and it's in white, so you're not going to see anything. So let's give our section a background. We say edit section and we give our background color. Well, let's make it, I'm going to play with a gradient. Yes, a gradient for a background. We do that, don't we? Okay, I want that one. I want that one, and it's looking good. Of course, you cannot see much here. So let's go click on the style, use custom width. Let's see what it does for that. And that one is pretty nice. I like it as is. And all I need to do now, if you are familiar with Elementor, is duplicate it and then drag in here, click on it and change it. I'm going to choose for this one, the SVG. This is SVG of a SVG. Let's duplicate it. And then for this one, I'm going to drag in what am I doing? Click over here, click on the EPS. Good. Do you see where I'm going with this? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the download button from JetElements, and I can drag that under it. And then from here, I can begin styling this. And I have, that's the button, content, okay, styling. We have to go, where am I? Why I cannot style it? Let's just use the widget. Well, where am I? Okay, I'll get that right. Column, style. and I'm lost. I'm totally lost. I'll figure that one out soon. So what I want to show you is that if I add this download button, and now I'm totally hooked on how am I going to get this thing to go to the middle. I had my button, I have the alignment of the button. I have the button icon, the button label, and the button sub-label. Interesting. I'll have to go figure that out, why I cannot get it to go in the middle. Edit widget. Go to column, column order. What am I doing wrong? One of those things. Text align. Figured that one out. Typography. I remember this thing has given me gray hairs. Lots of gray hairs before trying to figure it out. So from here, I can go and style it. Now I can finally breathe again. I don't look like a complete moron here. And I can go and style it as I please. And then that is my button. So for the button text, which is the label, let's make that black. And this one has that strange little thing that you have to click on that one. Okay. And then for those, also have to style it. You can also go look at the tutorial on the button. But while we are here, the download button, let's just stick with this so I can give you an idea of how this works. And then you are going to link the PSD file to this button. So duplicate it, drag it in over here. And then you have to remember again to go here, style, typography, center align. Next time I forget, please remind me where it is, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget it again. And wait, this is on my column. And then we go here, typography. So this is where the inline SVG works very nicely. When you can go into a website like the Noun project, you can get your own special looking SVGs and you don't look like everyone else on the website. And like I said, you can contact these creators and then you can do private work with them. That's also a very nice feature. This is just icons. You can get huge images like I've mentioned before. And that means you reduce your loading time for your website incredibly. And that is the great benefit of SVG. The inline SVG is an element and widget that I use. I love it. I use it a lot. I come up with interesting ideas behind it. For example, let's do one more. You can grab something like this. Let's go to our section and let's add a background to it. And let's use the sunset over here. We insert that. Let's go to layout, height, minimum height. And then the nice thing again about a SVG is that you are going to be able to, it's like an image over image, overlay of an image. So if I put my Android there, of course the green and the orange maybe won't work well together. Use custom width, and then I can increase it again. And the great thing is I can even change the color. That's another great thing about SVG, is that it allows you to do those things. Hover color, color, use custom color. And it's not giving me the custom color. I just said how great it is and it doesn't allow me to do that. I'm a sad panda. Let me just change it a little bit there. No, it doesn't want to change the custom color for that. Maybe because Android doesn't like us messing around with their color. Just background image looks terrible. Let me go and just make sure I got that size to cover. There we go. Looks much better now. I hope that gives you some idea of what a SVG is, how you can use custom SVGs and those that graphic designers may give you or that your client may give you, how it can be used very practically on your website, reduce loading time, and give you the ability to take a small thing and upscale it to a huge size. This is Websites for Beginners with JP.